Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria, where at the very tail end of last episode, we got this proposal for a defensive pact with Karuna, or Kaurna? Kaurna? Sure. We'll go with that. They have literally no military. No, we don't care about that. Get out of here. They have literally no military, so that's not going to be useful. Market access in Hokkaido is at 67%. We are low on infrastructure there. Let's go ahead and build a railroad up in Hokkaido. We are working on government administrations, and hey, National Guard moves into adoption. I like it. Plus 10.4k, which means that we can definitely work on some construction here. Let's grab 2. Phenomenal. So we're going to grab 2 construction sectors and a railway. We're still working on government administrations, and we need a number of these. We've got 92 weeks in our construction queue here. We need a lot more things. But soon we're going to be able to stop microing our construction queue quite as much as we have been. That'll be nice. We can start focusing on other things like conquest and colonization. That'll be great. I mean, that's kind of the same thing for us at this point. But even so. So these government administrations are definitely finishing up here. We've got 78.2k left in unrealized taxes. Iron is currently expensive, so we are going to toss an iron mine in the Kanto province. That'll be fine. No problem whatsoever here. We're down to 83 weeks in our construction queue, up to 125 construction, which is still about 210 shy of where we want to be. It's exactly 210 shy of where we want to be, but we'll get there. Our economy will grow to that point. So army reserves have just been unlocked, giving us plus 20% conscriptable battalions. That's great. You get that plus a National Guard. That means we're going to get a lot of conscripts. We don't necessarily love conscripts, but for now this is fine. 10% enactment success chance or 15%. Beautiful. We'll get some rural appeal here. That'll be fine. So the question then becomes, how are we actually doing with our interest groups at this point? Well, the answer is it's kind of mediocre. We have a contested government right now. The shogunate are neutral. The samurai are very happy with us. Everybody else is really quite happy except the trade unions and the intelligentsia. But overall, it's looking reasonable. Our big problem right now is radicalism, and that's due to our finances, right? So eventually we're going to get to the point, and why are we negative right now? We are pulling out of our investment pool. Interesting. Very interesting. Regardless, it doesn't matter that much that we're a little bit negative here and there. It's okay. Very soon, we're going to be able to start working on other things other than just economy, and that'll also mean dropping taxes. We'll get to a point of capping out our construction, and once we get there, taxes will begin to come down. And that will start to drive down our radicalism, although that has dropped somewhat. So that's good. Are we currently running... Okay, we do have debt right now. Noted. Okay. For the moment, this is fine. We could consider putting in another consumption tax. I think it's a bad idea to. I think it's generally a bad idea to do a consumption tax on anything that is more than 100 authority. That's my rule of thumb there. Romanticism has been unlocked. Okay, cool. And National Guard passes. Phenomenal. So that's absolutely great. What else do we want to do? We can't go down to militarized police force just yet. Okay, so we have basically no laws to change. We could enact theocracy, but we're not going to. This seems fine. This seems absolutely fine. So we are making 6.64k right now. We do need to, well, we don't need to, but we can let that credit go away and just bank up some money for the time being. I think that's not a terrible idea. I do want to check in on market access in Hokkaido right now. So we can see the infrastructure there is at -3. Gotcha. So it is subsidized. We're just lacking employees here in Hokkaido. So that's going to need a little bit of work. The party will never end. We'll get some loyalists there. I like it. Not many, but we'll get some. And these government administrations, they are definitely taking the edge off of these unrealized taxes. We're down to 75.2k. We need to get a lot more. No doubt about that. I'm going to build us another construction sector here, bringing us up to 130. And we just need to continue to construct faster and faster and faster, right? We're getting a snowball rolling here. That's the idea. Our market access in Hokkaido is basically just due to lack of qualifications here. And gold has been depleted in Hokkaido, so that might actually be good for us. Realistically. I mean, it's not, but, you know, it might be good for our infrastructure here. And in fact, it is. It is good for our infrastructure. So for now, that's fine. It's unfortunate. Very unfortunate indeed that that depleted there. But it's to be expected. It was going to happen eventually. So the real question is, how long do we want to keep working on these government administrations, and when do we want to actually start getting some universities here? So each university is giving us 2 innovation. We're currently generating 50. We can get up to 25 more. So that, of course, means that we want to build 13 total universities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We could build 1 level of university in each state. Do these provide qualifications to their state? Is that how that works, or are qualifications nationwide? If their current attributes, blah, 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 they develop the qualifications necessary to change into another profession over time. Indeed. My question is that something that happens on the state level? I believe, my understanding is that it does. I don't know that for a fact, which is why I'm interested in putting a university into each of these states, and then into probably our most populous states, we'd put a second university. Now, this is going to be a little bit to build. I'm going to move up these government administrations that we've already put progress into, and then we're going to intersperse in these universities, right? So something kind of like this. I do want more universities going here. That is going to be very useful for us. But we're going to want to also be working on government administration simultaneously. So we're going to want to move these guys right on up, and we'll call this good for now. We're going to have a bunch of universities in a row, but we can let some of this finish up. So that's cool for now. No major issues there. And we are definitely seeing our GDP continue to go up. So that's solid. We are about to get intensive agriculture, which is, of course, going to get us some soil-enriching farming. After that, we absolutely go nitroglycerin into dynamite. That's the idea here. So technologically, that's what we're going for. I would like to get these universities online, and I would have liked to do it earlier, but honestly, I don't think it was possible to get it done earlier. At least not significantly earlier. We needed to get other things under control, right? And we're currently having some financial issues again. I think this is probably due to weirdness with our investment pool, if I had to guess. Or just due to cost of universities, but those aren't finishing up yet. So there's our soil-enriching farming available. Let's absolutely grab soil-enriching farming here. That is going to destroy the price of fertilizer. Right. That said, livestock ranches do produce some fertilizer. We'll go to intensive grazing. And then soil-enriching farming, so we have at least some there. Tobacco plantations should be on rail transportation now. I feel like we can probably get away with going to rail transportation for our mines at this point. But that might create a transportation shortage. How much is that? Okay, that's significant. So we're not ready to do that yet. Gotcha. We're going to hop on back to road carts for these. And we'll get that done soon. But the fertilizer shortage is going to be a bit of an issue for us. So we could build chemical plants, or we could build more livestock ranches. And for the moment, I think that livestock ranches are the way to go. So these get economy of scale, correct? They do. So we should be building these in like Ryukyu. So I'm going to build 7 of them here. They build fairly quickly. And we're just going to do it like this. That'll be fine. So that's going to produce a fair amount of additional fertilizer. Iron is currently expensive as well, so we definitely want to build at least one more iron mine. At least one more iron mine. I'm going to do 2. So we're going to do something kind of like this. We're going to be done with all of this construction fairly soon. We do have a second railway being built. Okay, so we're building in Hokkaido and Kansai right now. That's not bad. I don't mind that at all. So this is looking good for the moment. We're going to produce some fertilizer. We need 190. We currently have 89.6. So this should come pretty close to dealing... This will deal with our input goods shortage of fertilizer. It might not completely satisfy our demand for fertilizer, but it should be reasonably close. So that'll be good. Our iron mines in Kanto will be done eventually as well. The iron price has dropped somewhat. Noted. France is protective of us. That's definitely noted. And we actually... Is Great Britain no longer domineering towards us? Oh, Great Britain is now protective. Cool. So we're happy about that one. That's definitely good. Fertilizer is still running a shortage here. These livestock ranches will take some time to probably ramp up. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Now, paper is probably going to become a bit more of a concern as we go forward here. But we're 5 weeks away from getting these iron mines done. I think this is reasonably fine here. 4 weeks away. And we just need to continue to get this stuff online, right? That's rather important. No doubt about that. And we've got a bunch of government administrations here that we also want to get online. That's also in the category of rather important. These government administrations are probably... I'm not sure if a single government administration is going to offset the amount that we pay for universities. We'll see. We might be a little bit negative as we work on these universities. But that's okay. So iron finishes up. We're still running a fertilizer shortage, but this last livestock ranch is going to be done now. Okay, so those were in, what, Ryukyu? Do we have these fully employed? The answer is no. They're not fully employed right now, and that is why we're not producing enough fertilizer. Okay, so we have unemployment here, or rather, we have open jobs. We don't really have people here to fill these jobs. Okay, so that'll require some migration. I'm not too concerned about that. This fertilizer shortage, we could potentially build more livestock ranches in, say, Kansai. So we would build something like 8 of them here. So something like that. Although, I kind of don't want them to be built now. We'll move them down in the queue, and for now, that'll do. I want to move these government administrations up in the queue. For the moment, we're just working on our government administrations and universities. I feel like we have enough fertilizer production for now. We could maybe do an import route, but nobody has any available. Actually, that's because we're isolationist. Yeah, that's going to be why that's happening. For now, that's okay. We're going to want to get off of traditionalism eventually as well. And serfdom. Well, we could maybe stick on serfdom. I don't know. We'll see. We've got a bunch of universities being built at this moment, which is expected. And as those finish up, we are going to be seeing our literacy increasing a little bit. It's not going to be much. Not going to be much at all. But it's going to increase a little bit. But the important thing here is upping our innovations. That's going to be what's important. So we're going to get all this finished. 75 weeks on that in theory. Paper might become a problem here, though. Secret societies. What do we got going on here? Interest group strength from the intelligentsia? Sure. Seems fine. So we're definitely seeing our radicalism heading down slightly. Very, very slightly. Mostly from Pops dying, which is fair enough. Absolutely fair enough on that front. Market access in Chubu is a little bit low, so we probably do want to get a railway going in Chubu. We'll get that underway. And we're going to be finishing up a bunch of these universities very, very soon. Now, do we have enough government administrations even queued up here? I don't think so. No, we definitely don't. We've established a university, and we could certainly get some empiricism progress. Sure, that sounds fine. So we're going to need a lot more government administrations than what we have queued, right? There's no doubt about that. Hello, pause menu. We're definitely going to need more, but for now, this will do. So we're getting these universities set up here. It's going to be a little bit before that's all good to go. And we're keeping an eye on our finances, which are actually holding relatively firm. I'm pretty pleased with that, actually. So that's indicating that the government administrations are making about the same amount that the universities are costing us. That's very good. We're very pleased with that one. Now, I do want to start thinking about moving up these livestock ranches now. I think this is a reasonable time to do so. So we'll get those done. And they won't take very long, all things considered. There's also another livestock ranch in Chugoku being built in our private construction, as well as a tooling workshop. So that seems reasonably fine for the time being. We do need to get our economy rolling here, and it's starting to roll. It is definitely starting to roll. Radicalism is ticking upward due to decreases of standard of living. Okay. Reasonably expected, to be honest. Reasonably expected. So, government administrations are generating 50 bureaucracy each, right? So I'm going to put these at the bottom of the list here. We're going to put 2 here. This is going to need to be 3. This is going to need to be 5, which it actually is at. So that's okay. Where were we? So 5 is 250, 6 is 300, 7 is 350. So that's good. So this is going to need to be at 8. And then Kansai is going to need to be a lot more. So 8 is going to be 400. So we need 10 in Kansai. Okay. That number is going to continue to change as we go forward, for the record. But that's not that many additional government administrations. So that seems reasonably good. We're solid on our bureaucracy, which is, of course, buffing up our state construction efficiency, which is also solid. So that all seems good. We're going to have a university in Kanto finishing up here. And we do have a bunch of livestock ranches that just finished up. We no longer have a fertilizer input goods shortage, so we're not concerned about building additional livestock ranches. This seems good where we're at. Slightly negative in our balance right now, but that's going to oscillate. I'm not too concerned about that. That seems okay. So that sounds fine. We're going to be done with our universities fairly soon. Minus 22.6% construction efficiency up over here. I mean, we're still working on incorporating that, right? So that's not shocking. We could, I suppose, put in some violent suppression up here. I don't know that we want to. I think we're fine without it. So that'll be okay. This livestock ranch finishes, and now we're just working on our railway, on our government administrations, and on our universities. So that looks good. We're going to be capping out our innovations fairly soon. And our literacy rate is absolutely garbage. That's not shocking. But we're going to be capping out our innovations for the moment, very soon. And then we've got a bunch more government administrations, right? So we've got a lot more building to do. But very, very soon now, we're going to start turning quite a bit of profit. In fact, we're already starting to. Our GDP just keeps going up at this point, and I'm kind of tempted to get another construction sector in Kansai. Let's do it for now. This will take us slightly negative, but I'm hoping by the time we get all of this stuff completed, we should be okay on that. So our university in Sakhalin is going to be a little bit slower, 21.9% slower, which is painful. No doubt about that. No one's really after theocracy at this point, but we're making solid progress on our constructions. This looks good. This looks absolutely great. We have one more university to do here, and that's going to get started as soon as we're done with this one in 3 weeks. And then we're going to be doing just government administrations from there. Keep in mind, 69.7K in unrealized taxes right now. That number's dropping, and our income numbers aren't really coming up, right? And that's because we keep expanding our construction. But we have a very specific goal in mind for our construction. So as soon as we have the money to do that, we'll do it. At this point, we just need 200 additional construction. But that snowball is absolutely rolling. So we see a furniture manufactory and a motor industry being built in our private constructions. Those are great. No issues there. Cool. Unfortunately, these constructions are a bit on the slow side, right? It's mildly slow, no doubt about that. What is the status of Korea? Korea is a tributary of China. So if we were to hypothetically attack them, which we can't do because of relations right now, if we were to hypothetically attack them, would China join them? Let's see. They're not forced to join their overlords' wars. They must pay 20% of their treasury income to their overlord each week. They are able to start their own diplomatic plays. The question is, would China defend them? And that's definitely a maybe. That is definitely a maybe. I'd like to take over Korea. That would be a good first step. We're definitely starting to think about pivoting to military fairly soon, because our economy is really starting to flow at this point. It's almost running itself. Gold mines in Hokkaido, we can build those now? We absolutely should be doing this. I didn't realize that we could build gold mines in Hokkaido now. So we absolutely want to do that. That will get done as soon as possible. And that'll be absolutely great. We'll definitely want that money. This university is going to be done in 3 weeks, and that's the one that's slow. So that's great. That's really, really, really good. Very pleased about that one. In fact, I'm just generally very pleased that we're able to build gold mines right now. That's incredible. I didn't expect that for a bit yet. We are going to get nitroglycerin here in 12 months. That's going to get us quite a bit more need for fertilizer. So we might want to think about getting some chemical plants going. We already have one in Hokkaido, but I would prefer to build it in Kansai, I think. So I'm going to queue these up at the bottom of the queue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, we're probably going to move those up. This is our last university in the queue. And then we have these gold mines that we absolutely want to get done as soon as possible, right? So that's going to be fairly important. Each of these gold mines is going to give us 500 minting plus producing gold. And actually, I can see here that we definitely want to swap over to atmospheric engine pumps. That's going to double the amount of minting. I don't know that we actually want to do any rail transportation here just yet. Our wheat farms are not on soil-enriching farming. They should be. We also don't have harvesting tools here, and we could go to vineyards. Seems okay. I don't know when we got a wheat farm. We must have privately constructed it. I'm okay with that. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So just checking through the rest of these here, we could go down to pot stills. That would require sugar, and we really don't have sugar right now. Do we want sweeteners? Again, sugar. So sugar isn't a great option at this moment. We just don't have a source of it right now. We could maybe get sugar. We don't have any access to sugar plantations. Rice farms do, however, produce a small amount of sugar. So that is a potential option in the future. So up here in Hokkaido, I want to check in on the status of these gold mines. Okay, we definitely need to employ more people here. That'll take some time. We have 12.7k peasants in Hokkaido. Yeah. Lack of unemployment here is painful. So that's okay. We'll get that done. We'll get that done. At this point, I do want to start thinking about these chemical plants. Again, though, we can intersperse them. So we would end up prioritizing the government administrations over the chemical plants and then doing something kind of like this, right? So that will end up, I mean, we're going to have this finished in just a moment. So we can then move these up and have it be something kind of like this and continue to intersperse these, prioritizing the government administrations over the chemical plants. What is our current unemployment numbers? Quite low. Quite low. Noted. That's fine for now. So once we get these chemical plants built, then we can start thinking about getting our nitroglycerin, right? We're going to need a lot of fertilizer to get nitroglycerin online. That's going to give us access to nitroglycerin for coal mines here, which we're going to need explosives for those. But that'll also give us access to the ammonia soda process, which will allow us to start producing explosives, which is the idea here. So that'll be fine. We'll move up this chemical plant, or rather move up this government administration, and then we'll move these guys on up as well. Cool. We're still prioritizing our government administrations over these chemical plants, but I do want to get the chemical plants done in a reasonable time frame here. So we'll just be doing something kind of like this. Currently at 66.3K, noted. Market access in a couple of locations is low. So we'll need to deal with that, Kyushu and Hokkaido. Done. Wait, do we actually need anything in Hokkaido? No, we need employment here. So we should really be thinking about doing a greener grass campaign over to Hokkaido. Like that. We want to attract more people over here so that they're working in these locations, right? We need quite a lot more people in our railway here. And we're going to have just generally a lot of things here that we need. The gold mines is another big one. So that's all going to be necessary. We'll get some additional immigration going in there. How much are we actually getting from immigration attraction? Pop growth is plus 0.8K annually. Okay. We do have some decent migration attraction here, and we're hoping to get that dealt with soon. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to wrap up construction on these chemical plants and start really outputting a lot of resources. Oh, hi, Confederate States of America. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.